Hello, welcome. It's Friday and it's time for the second episode of Mitch the Taxman Business Show. Thank you all for those who joined in last week. We've had an amazing response and congratulations to Richard Salmon who won the 30-minute business advisory session with Adam. So please make sure you contact us. And we've got 2 free prizes to give away. So please make sure you're commenting, asking us questions, and Kishan's going to pick the best couple of questions to win the prize. So today, delighted to be joined by Kishan Bhatt. Kishan is a practicing lawyer at the London Law Practice. Was called to the bar in 2012.
That's right. And
is a graduate of Silex.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, well done, job done. Welcome, Kishan. Thanks for coming in. So let's go straight into it. So you were called to the bar in 2012. So what made you decide the route of going down the legal industry and then being appointed a barrister?
It's an interesting question, actually. My great-grandfather was one of the first Asian barristers in this country. A good inspiration, and I got to see him before he passed away. So I heard all about the cases that he did in court, and he used to sit on his lap and hear about all those interesting stories. And I was very passionate about justice, and also very interested in the intricacies of law generally, and it was very intellectually challenging and stimulating. So yes, ever since then I thought this was the right career for me, and glad to be in the right place.
Okay, yeah, it's great story. And so 2012 you were called to the bar. So what does that mean for someone watching?
So it's quite simple, really. It's I did a bar professional training course, and I completed that's the first part of the barrister's training. And I was called to the Honourable Society of the Inner Temple, and the second part of the training, which I haven't done yet, which is pupillage. That's the next stage really for me. But very happy where I am. London Law Practice, of course, and regulated under Silex at present. Completing all those letters I need to do to my plan is to be the first ever barrister, solicitor, and legal executive, and let's see how that goes.
What, in the world? What, the UK?
Well, apparently in the UK, maybe the first one.
Okay. Oh, that's a big ambition.
Big ambitions.
You heard it here first. So we've got nine viewers currently. So give us a wave. Let us know you're here. As we said, we've got 2 great prizes to give away, which we're going to come on to, and it's important that you interact with us. My beard has grown longer. I know a week has gone on, and it's a big topic. So let us know. And Kishan has had a haircut for the occasion.
Yeah,
so
prepared.
Let us know you're here. We're going to come on to tax. We're going to come on to networking and a few other things. So your speciality is around employment and business law.
That's correct, yeah. And predominantly employment law sort of kind of merges into HR stuff, and also commercial litigation and corporate, yeah.
Okay. So in the last couple of months, what have you seen have been the main issues that a business owner has been facing in terms of the law or HR side?
Of course, the major change was the introduction of the national living wage, which has had a massive impact on businesses going forward. I think the key problem generally is the difficulty of companies and businesses managing their employees, and when companies are not able to manage their employees effectively, a lot of issues and risks come about from that. So we help them through that process with our retainer models. Essentially, I had one client recently who is going to be fined from the Home Office for having an illegal employee. And of course, that's a massive impact on the business. It's a potential 10 grand fine, we help manage that process.
Yeah, I guess how easily accessible is information to a general business owner to find out about the new legislation or minimum wage?
Yeah, employment law, the nature of employment law is it changes very rapidly over time, and it's very difficult for businesses to keep up with employment law generally. So the information is certainly out there. You can look at the ACAS website, for example, and of course the government.gov.uk website is very informative. But then it's a question of how to then utilise that information effectively to ensure that your risks are kept low and your liabilities kept to a minimum. And of course that's where we can help.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's just have a look at who's joining us today. So we've got Jonathan Lee. Jonathan Lee says hi. Hi, Jonathan. Do you know someone called Jonathan Lee?
We do certainly do. He's a colleague of mine.
Okay. Hi, Jonathan. Please, if you have any complicated technical questions, put him on the spot. Let's see what he's made of. Have we got any likes? What have we got here? Richard J. Oh, we see he's joined. Bavini. Hi, Bavini. Stephen Fox. Nice to see you.
Hi, Stephen.
Been a long time. Hope it's going well. Brett, how you doing? Great to see you. Okay, let's moving on from the employment side. Let's talk about setting up of a business. It's been very relevant to me, very relevant to a lot of the clients that I'm facing, and I've incorporated a lot of businesses. People that want to set up limited companies, and they go through the standard articles of association when you want to incorporate a company. And from my experience, not a lot of directors realise the importance of potentially having the articles of association checked by a lawyer or changed for a bespoke. Can you just touch upon what you feel is the importance of articles of association and having them actually specific to a company?
Sure. I mean, the key importance of having any agreement in place, and particularly those that are so fundamental to the establishing of a company, is having it written and agreed so that the parties know exactly where they stand in terms of their positions. Otherwise, of course, it becomes a he said, she said situation. And we've had many kind of cases like that in the past where shareholder agreements haven't been written, articles of association haven't been drafted properly, or they go along the lines of the Model Articles Association under the Companies Act 2006. And the issue, of course, then is what was actually agreed. What happens when you want to sell shares, or what happens when there's a bad leaver who hasn't really been maybe dismissed for gross misconduct, or hasn't been effectively performing with the company. So those kind of situations are effectively covered in writing under the shareholders agreement or the articles, to prevent any kind of issues going forward with the company, or if there's any risk factors. That's all those areas are covered in the agreements, so it's fundamental to have them. Yeah.
So if we just talk about the main agreements of which a company should have, you just want to just list a few which you think are important. I'll just have a look. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Go on, keep going. Kish?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. So the key agreements would be, we can have article of association drafted that are not part of the model articles, but you can have a shareholders agreement drafted, and then you may have directors that are employed within the company that have a particular specific role, and for that you need to have a director's service agreement, so that those kind of agreements will cover things like what happens when you have a very important role that's being filled, and that person needs to wants to take clients away from the company should he leave the company. That's going to have a massive impact on the business. So those kind of restrictive covenants preventing that person from taking a client away, or taking staff from that company away for a reasonable period of time, all of that's covered. So directors level service agreements, and for other employment contracts, could be junior or senior. Employee staff handbook, which has all the rules and procedures governing the company on sickness, absence, and, for example, performance indicators and things like that. So those are quite crucial documents.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. We've got 15 of viewers here. Now, we want to encourage interaction, so we're going to announce the 2-star prizes, and it's going to be around exclusive networking invitations here. So we have two invitations, okay, here, exclusive, fully paid hospitality, okay. One is to PBN, accompanying myself and Kishan to a PBN event, which is a local business networking event in Elstree, and the other is to the Yacht Club, attending a business networking event on a yacht in Temple with myself and Kishan, and we're going to be coming on to networking shortly, but for the best questions asked, you've got PBN in Hearts or the Yacht Club in Temple. I know which one I'll probably choose, but so get your questions in. It could be tax, it could be business, it could be networking, it could be law, it could be whatever you like. And we're now up to nearly 20 viewers. Wave, Bhavini, wave into us. Put in a question. Share with your friends. So it's interesting. So you touched upon briefly there the restricted covenants, and we've had quite a lot of experience in that
yes.
quite recently. How enforceable is a restrictive covenant?
The answer to that question is it all depends on how it's drafted, and so that's why companies do come to solicitors to make sure it's drafted properly. So the answer is yes, it is enforceable, but it's only enforceable over a reasonable period of time, and it's usually that reasonable period of time is judged on how experienced that particular employee is, if he's a senior level or junior level.
Yeah.
So someone of a senior level, usually it's a period of 12 months. You can't take a client from that company, for example, and if it's drafted properly, then it could be as extreme as can't deal with that person at all.
Yeah.
Can't approach them. So yeah.
Okay, and then restriction of trade.
Yeah, I mean that's of course governed under the competition laws anyway.
Yeah.
So it's restriction of trade. Essentially, you can't take clients away, or you can't take staff away. So those kind of restrictions we could draft in the employment contract.
Okay. No, it's interesting because I know a lot of clients are worried about
Absolutely.
that, and
yeah.
it's very interesting. Okay, let's move on and talk about and bring some tax into the equation.
Sure, yeah.
So an area that we work very closely together is on IR35.
Sorry.
Contractors who may be contracting initially with one well, I was going to say employer, but one party, and then so that's an area you obviously know quite a lot about. What are the key items within a contract that one should look at when they are considering just contracting to one company?
Sure. I mean, there's various factors. I think, if, for example, the status of that person, if he's genuinely self-employed, and HMRC have a very strong test to decide whether or not that person is genuinely self-employed. So a lot of people will actually enter into an agreement via their personal service companies to make sure that that kind of shows that they have a limited company, they're a director of that company, and so they're not personally employed by that company. And so another key indicator is how much control the company has over that person. So for example, you can't take time off during a certain period, would show that you have a lot of control over that person. So that would be an employer and employee relationship, which is what you want to avoid in an IR35 sort of contract. And the recent new law, as you may know, is that's come in, where travel and subsistence expenses can't be put into the contract. So that means that you can't get tax relief from that anymore. Obviously, you're a tax expert, but again, the contract has to not include those kind of provisions.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly for umbrella companies who have temporary workers, and travel and subsistence has now been removed. So a lot of temporary workers now have to go down the general employment route, or they have to consider setting up their own limited company and going down that route, of which a lot don't want to do. But a few other things to touch upon IR35. You've got the substitution clause, which should be going in there. You've got business insurance, so you should take out their independent business insurance. And then also a good one is to use their own equipment, so their own laptops and things like that. But if anyone has any questions on IR35 or contracting, the tax law, business law, throw us in a question, we'll answer it. Kish and myself, we do a lot of this work between us, and I'd be interested to hear from you. I think we've got some comments coming in. Kish, can you see what's going on there?
Yes, I think Jonathan's saying, in light of the recent Panama Papers, hoo-ha, do you think the government and media's reaction to this will have much impact on the use of tax minimization strategies, whether or not offshore structures? As we're going to see, let's click on it. are involved?
Great question, Jonathan.
Yes, good question.
You want this yacht club one, don't you? Here it is. Well, I have to wait and see. But yeah, I think the whole tax avoidance and debate has been going on now for a good couple of years, and I think from my experience, the general public and certainly my clients are becoming more and more conservative with their tax planning, and whereas before, some clients would consider aggressive tax planning, offshore trusts, offshore vehicles, film partnerships, whatever it may be. Nowadays, everyone has been a lot more conservative, and because it's so in the public eye, everyone is aware of the potential consequences of getting found out for even tax avoidance, which majority of the time is legal, but just the public perception of it, people just want to stay away from it. And I think you'll find that there will be a lot more offshore disclosure facilities being made available by HMRC to encourage more and more disclosure. We do a lot of disclosure work, voluntary disclosure work, but there's nothing out there specifically at the moment for an offshore disclosure where it could encourage a lower penalty of 10 or 20%. But yeah, great question. Thanks, Jonathan. And yeah, we're up to 25 viewers. Keep on liking, keep on sharing. Let's just talk about. Obviously, I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
And we first met networking.
Yeah.
And
many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. And it's quite rare within our two professions that you would get someone of our age. I mean, you're slightly older than me, but someone of our age is good to go out there and grow their client base. So, you're self-employed. You were self-employed. So,
yes.
What was your thinking about networking at such a young age?
Yeah.
Why did you go down that route of self-employment and networking and growing a client base, and how did you go about that at that age?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, the legal services market, of course, is very competitive, and it's also fundamentally changing. So the market structures have opened up a lot now. It's very important for young lawyers to go out there and get their own work and get their own business. Get more clients and broaden their horizons a bit more, and I encourage that for a lot of young people. So I kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit within me. I really enjoy networking and meeting new people and helping people out. So I'm quite proactive. I'm a quite proactive person anyway. Yeah. And so it's just, I guess, a combination of enjoying things, but also knowing the challenges of the market and adapting to the market properly to meet the firm's needs or the client's needs properly. So that's why I joined networking organisations with you, and it's been a very good experience, a very good learning curve as well. So
I mean, the traditional graduate at university who's studying law and goes down, the LLB or whatever they go to, they're looking at going in to do a graduate scheme training scheme at a large practice or top 100 or whatever. Do you think there's going to be a change in that way where people are going to consider more of a self-employed route?
Yeah.
And how is one going to know about that route to take?
I think I always say this to young lawyers that training is fundamental. You can't knock down training. You need to know what you're doing properly. And of course, I've had that training in the past. But barristers, for example, are actually naturally self-employed in chambers. Because I sort of did the bar professional training course at BPP Law School, I sort of knew that I was going to be self-employed anyway. But I think just a lot of solicitors are now going down the consultancy model, and it's a very attractive model. Of course, it kind of allows you to be a bit more flexible, a bit more free with your time, and as long as you can manage your time effectively, the chances of you growing and being more successful are greater. As a result. So I think younger people should open their horizons a bit more and think about it carefully, but they have to make a very informed decision before they take that jump. They have to be proactive, they have to be able to manage their time But I think it's going to happen eventually. I think the model is now such that it allows the structures of certain law firms, such as the London Law Practice, allows you to kind of be self-employed and go out there and get your own work kind of thing.
Okay,
yeah.
That's interesting. Guys, let us know you're here. Kishan's here. Ask him some questions. Ask me some questions. Give us a wave. Mark Schoffman, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's just scroll down. There we go. Okay, yep. Ben, there you are. How you doing? Thanks for coming. See you Sunday. Okay, remember we've got these two tickets to give away. Keep your questions coming. At the moment, it looks like it's Jonathan's, so we don't really want to socialise with him. So get some more questions in. Okay, so just whilst we're on networking, so what would you say for someone who's qualified at the moment? What would you say the key things are to consider when networking? I think to a networking event.
Of course, you're a social media expert, and you probably know this more than me. But I think social media has really broadened our horizons a lot more, and I think using things like this, Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, I think that's fundamental to success in terms of networking. I think you should start off with your laptop and try and develop contacts and develop a brand for yourself, if you like, and a niche as well in a particular market. And then once you've done that, and then you've established a few good relationships, it's all about relationship building. Then you can go out there and do open networking events. I think that's a good starting point, but it's not the best, I don't think, because you're just handing out cards. And I think it's good to be part of a formal networking group, such as the PBN, Professional Business Networking Group that we have. And then attending that weekly and regularly, meeting people and learning from it. It's a great experience, knowing how to get clients, and also try and how to request for what you want and how to get what you want. Really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. You've touched upon the whole sphere of networking, online, offline, and it certainly needs to be a mix. And you have to be hitting everything equally in order to get the best return from an overall networking strategy. But you need to think about it. You need to plan it. And Kishan made a great point of building up your reputation online first before you go offline, because then people can obviously check you out, see what you're about, see who your connections are, see you've got a lot of credibility, and obviously the key driver to start with is LinkedIn. So that's great. Right, let's bring it back to business owners and issues they may have in. Having been a partner in accountancy practices, one of the biggest challenges that we faced was debt recovery. Outstanding debtors. So, talk to me about the current issues businesses are facing around debt recovery and the sort of things you do to help them with that.
Sure. I mean, debt recovery has been a historic problem, for many companies over the years. It's always a case where invoices are not being paid on time, and I've had debts up to £40,000 to £50,000 and beyond, or even small debts that, in a matter of principle, companies want to fight for that. And what tends to happen is the biggest problem here is that it sort of sets a precedent. So companies don't want to be notoriously known to be sort of lenient, and waive off invoices or write off debts. And so they want to have a good firm behind them to try and tackle those problems. And sometimes it can be a challenge, but it's the court process is quite straightforward. We can guide we've been guiding our clients through the process, and recovering those debts. And of course, if it's over £10,000, then you can also recover your legal costs. And on top of that, you can also claim interest. And if it's a business to business, then you can claim under the Late Commercial Debt Payments Act, where the interest will be up to around 8.5%. So you claim interest and make sure you stand firm, and that no one takes advantage of your company, because that's your bread and butter.
Okay, that's cool. I know we've been working on some things together. And just let's touch a bit about the London Law Practice. You're on here and you're representing them. And you have various packages on a retainer model, similar to Fusion. And we found that our clients certainly love that model. They know where they stand. Do you just want to talk about a couple of your sort of retainer packages that you have very briefly?
Yeah, sure. It's quite rare for law firms to have these retainer packages, but we of course are different. So we've split up our packages based on certain areas. So we do commercial law packages, we do employment and HR packages, and sort of an business immigration package. So the commercial retainers, we have bronze, silver and gold. And that's dependent on the number of hours we provide to that particular client to use our services for advice over the phone per month. And that could be a call to me to say, look, I've got terms and conditions here, or a service level agreement with the client. I have no idea what this clause means. I don't understand this legal jargon. And of course we're there to sort of hold their hand and assist them along the way. And so that commercial package is very useful. But on top of that, what we've done with all our packages is we split it up into bronze, silver and gold. And so the silver and gold element of the commercial package also includes a bespoke sort of contract. So it could be anything, could be terms and conditions, could be shareholders agreements, could be a service level agreement, and that's of course fundamental, as we've already spoken about how it's important to get things in writing and to protect yourself. So we've also trying to team up now with our legal expenses insurance providers to try and cover any commercial litigation claims, because the packages don't cover litigation, but they of course cover quite a broad range of things. And the employment and HR package is fundamental to managing your employees, but also making sure that your employment contracts are in place. So for the bronze package, we give the employment contract that you need for junior, senior level staff. And we also provide a sort of a HR audit. So we go into the company, review what kind of structure they have, what contracts they have, what sort of handbook they have, and then we can advise them accordingly. And then the higher packages would then the higher packages then so silver and gold would mean unlimited employment law advice on the phone, and that's fantastic. So our employment packages start from as little as £80 per month.
£80?
Little
plus
as that.
VAT?
Plus VAT, And our startup, we've also got a new startup package. This is something I'm really excited about.
It's breaking news.
Breaking news,
Breaking news.
Breaking news, here we go. So that starts from £99 plus VAT per month, and that includes unlimited legal advice over the phone, and also one bespoke contract. And that
so unlimited legal advice. Okay, you've heard it here.
Most areas,
unlimited legal
commercial advice.
There you go.
And of course, what it does also include is a contract. Any startup will want to have a
master
good
service agreement,
master level service agreement, terms and conditions in place.
Contract.
And of course, there's requirements for that. So they have to be trading for less than a year. And it has to be sort of a one-man band that's not subject to investment. So it's an amazing model. And Fusion have been working with Kishan and the London Law Practice for a number of years now. And I'd encourage anyone really to drop Kishan a line, any business owner, because they'll probably be saving thousands of pounds in legal fees and be getting great advice. And that's the model we've worked on, our self-assessment model at £45 plus VAT, proving very popular at the moment. Let's see who's joining us. We're over 30 viewers. Sophie Young is waving. Hi Sophie.
Do you know Sophie Young?
I do.
You do?
I do.
What? This is over. Danny Moss, good to see you mate, hope to see you Sunday. Jonathan Lee, what's he saying now?
Jonathan Lee, if you could only spend time on one marketing activity, which would you choose, online or offline networking? I think he really wants to have this award prize, doesn't he?
He wants it. He can't come to both. Although we need some more questions. We need some more questions. Mossy, ask the question. You know you want to ask something about tax. Do you want to go first on that one?
I would try and spend. It's difficult because I think I like to have a balance personally, because you just get bored.
Depends what stage you're at, I guess.
depends what stage you're at, but I think it's important to sort of put a face to yourself, and going out there and meeting people is really important. I think developing personal contact is quite important.
Yeah.
You can't just do everything online. But
well, it's interesting. I would actually say online is initially more important than offline.
Okay.
Because you can generate the meetings online. So if you're going on LinkedIn and you want to target, I don't know, mortgage advisors, and you search for them, you connect with them, you message them, you call them, then you meet with them, and at that meeting with that individual, then you can build up a relationship, you may click, and then it builds from there. So I would say initially offline is more important, and it gives you more options as well. Obviously you've got LinkedIn, which is one, then you've got the Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got Instagram. So I mean, if you're going offline into various networking events, you can spend hours. If you're not clued up, I mean, we're clued up because we've had that experience of being in an organised group, having organised people, experienced people around us. If you're just going to random networking events and you're there and you're giving your cards and you're coming back, right, I've got to do the next one, you're going to be wasting your time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think building it up online is definitely the first step.
It's the way forward, isn't it? Because it's I think everyone's online nowadays. Those that are really serious in business are online, and you probably want to tap into them.
They're everywhere.
You want to reach out to them to help them out.
Yeah. It's all about the balance. But certainly, I would spend, if it was me, and it was me a few years ago in terms of building up my own client portfolio. Is I spent a lot of time initially building up the Mitch the Taxman image, and it's worked out okay. So and then I went into organised networking events.
How important do you think blogging is?
Blogging, I think in our industry is really important. I think when you're an expert in a certain field, it adds that extra bit of credibility when you're giving your view. I mean, I have seen blogs which people get written for them, and it's very clear that it's written for them. It's quite technical. The way it's produced is very formatted in a way you can see it's produced for a lot of people. So I don't like that. If you're going to blog, it needs to be your own. People need to know that that's you blogging or speaking, and it's in your style, in your format.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big advocate of video blogging.
Yeah.
It's I think people don't
vlogs.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Vlogs. I like that.
Come on, man.
Get with the
you can't say you're a big advocate. The hashtag vlog.
I love vlogging, apparently.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's worked for me actually, because we London Law Practice, we did a few video blogs, and clients have of ours now have approached us through that. And I think it's nice to have that sort of personal touch, isn't it? Yeah. People just get bored of reading things.
Yeah, but again, you have to be careful. I would say that nowadays, I know we're doing this is live, so it's sort of different in terms of we're going to go on for 30-40 minutes. But when you're doing a video blog, it can be very easy to go on past the 3 to 5 minute mark.
Yeah,
whereas if you're doing a recorded video nowadays, I think it has to be short, it has to be snappy to the point. No, the London Law Practices blogs are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, what questions have we got? Who's joining us? Daniel Wolf, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, guys. Keep the questions in. We have, for those who are joining us a bit late, we have Yacht Club ticket to join myself and Kishan at the Yacht Club, which is in Temple, with business owners. You'll come with us. We can give you some tips on networking. We have a drink with you, whatever you like. So that's in the evening, and the Professional Business Network is with business owners at the lovely Laura Ashley Manor in Elstree. Great breakfast, great people. Get your questions in. Anyone that asks questions, we're going to pick the best question, and you can win one of these. Right, so you want to talk about the future of the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we recently had an event in the Law Society, which Bhavani organised, and it was on the future of legal services, and very interesting topic, because law firms are fundamentally changing. The business structures now mean that solicitors, barristers, legal executives can practice under one roof.
Yeah.
But it's even gone further than that, because there's now alternative business structures, which mean that those non-lawyers can actually own law firms. Own law firms,
okay.
yeah, it's a certain percentage. It's allowed to have a lawyer that owns it as well. But it's an interesting model, and the market's opening up, and that means that there's a greater choice for the consumer. I think the future of legal services, that's one part of it in terms of streamlining the market. But also the other part of it is the use of technology. Apps and things like that are going to be very prevalent. I think it's prevalent in any industry, but having it in the legal industry is particularly interesting, and it'll be quite useful for a lot of clients too.
So in what way? I've
got a great example actually, because part of our HR package, we have we offer HR software for clients, and it's a bit more HRE, but it really helps with employment law, because then you can see who's not performing very well, and then that might lead to a potential disciplinary, and then you can monitor the performance of every individual employee, and so you offer that HR software, and the managers all the employees can access that from their app on the phone. So if they want to request holiday, all they've got to do is type it in. And it's all synchronized. So things like that, really interesting. It saves time, saves cost. And it makes everyone's life a lot more easier. And I think hopefully we'll get to a stage one day where we have a sort of a legal software or a legal app where clients are able to see the progress that's being made on a particular file. We're very pro technology, and that's kind of what we want to see going forward, because technology saves time and saves costs.
And I guess from a business point of view, the law practice, how often are you reviewing things to making sure that you're that far ahead of other firms of your size in terms of technology and stuff? Yeah,
very compliant. I mean, a lot of firms will have their own case management software. And of course we utilise that as much as we can, and we're always exploring new ways to kind of help our clients save costs and time, and reducing their sort of workload. So our lawyers, for example, a lot of our lawyers would work sort of remotely. Some of them work in offices together, and so that helps develop for us to develop a personal relationship with the clients, because then it gives us, we can work from anywhere really. Nowadays you can work from anywhere. You don't have to be in an office. You don't have to have large overheads in the city. So that kind of model and that structure, it's very unique. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. I don't think we're kind of there. I don't think we'll ever be there in terms of having AI technology to address legal services, because I think it's still very important to have a human touch to law, because it's the law is still a sort of a jigsaw. It's a maze, and it needs to be sort of, you need to work out or how to do it, and it's all about strategy. So for a client you can have particular different routes, and it's sort of that decision making. Technology will never be able to take that over from a lawyer. So
yeah, of course. Well, look, we've got about 5 minutes to finish off. John Toby's joining us. Good to see you, mate. Hope the injury's well. Amy Levine. Amy, how are you doing? Thanks for coming.
Hi, Amy.
Share your questions. We've got 5 minutes left, guys. Get your questions in. Don't be shy. I know some of you may be embarrassed, to ask a question, but don't be. Get it in. You could win a prize. 5 minutes. Right. 5 minutes. Let's talk tax. So, so property tax. What's your opinion on how the changes have come in? That may affect you. So
it has affected a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Buy-to-lets are of course a big issue now, because you can't claim a tax relief from your mortgage interest. So that means that less vehicles for investing, I guess.
Yeah, because you support one side of the political party,
I'll
say.
Let's not mention that.
And you might not be able to tell by the tie.
It's deliberately purple.
So I mean, what was your reaction to all these tax changes on landlords in particular?
I think it's tough on landlords, and I think it's also going to have an impact on tenants as well, because of course what's going to happen is the rents are going to increase, and that extra sort of burden is going to be passed on to tenants, and that's it's unfair and unacceptable. I think it needs to have a fair balance, and of course stamp duty increasing is not very helpful. It's having an effect all over the country. I think there are some interesting agents out there that are now offering sort of rental guarantees for 2 years, and I think those kind of creative models are going to prop up. And for young people, it's a very difficult time. I don't think the Help to Buy scheme goes far enough to protect them and for them to invest in the first properties, because of course property prices in London are really high as it is. So I think there still needs to be more done.
No, I mean totally. Every day I get an email or a tweet or whatever it may be. People want to do property tax planning. I'm spending a lot of my time a day deciding whether people should incorporate or purchase a new buy-to-let through a limited company. But there's the thing is there's no one answer. Everyone has a different situation. You're going to be hit by tax. It's just a question of which one you want to mitigate at this certain instance in your life. So anyone out there who needs to chat, wants to chat about property, any landlords, drop me a message, private message me on Facebook, that's no problem. fusionconsult.co.uk and whatever else. So that's property side. Company side, dividend taxes have increased as well. I mean, how do you think that's going to affect directors?
I mean, of course, it's going to affect them negatively. I mean, it's affecting independent contractors as it is. Before we used to have an IR35 sort of contract. We go through via a personal service company, and that was more tax efficient. Now it doesn't make much difference if you're genuine. If you're not contracted by a limited company or self-employed contract, doesn't make much difference. So it's a bit of a shame, but of course. There is an argument to have had that tax is important for a country, and of course it's contributing to some level, and it's fair enough. But I think it has to be a fair balance. And I mean, you probably know more than this. So of course you've got SEIS tax benefits now, and that's quite interesting. And a lot of young people don't actually know about that.
No. I mean, we touched upon it in our last show last week with Adam. Who, funnily enough, hasn't been seen since. So, if you're out there, SEIS. Any young company looking to raise some investment, you can register it for SEIS, and it means that anyone buying shares or investing into the company, their investment up to £150,000 in raising the company would obtain 50% income tax. So anyone who's starting a company, they need to incorporate that into their business plan, into their investors deck, and make sure their company is registered for SEIS and then EIS. So really, really important piece of advice there and planning. We've got Daniel, good to see you, mate, thanks for joining in. We have Dave Spry, hope you're well, mate. I'm sure you're going out partying in a few minutes. What's that say? Adam Rose. No, Adam Rose. Rose, probably driving home. Big supporter of Fusion, thanks for joining in. Great feedback from him last week. Maybe I'll get him on. He owns a big pharmaceutical type thing. What's Adam said there?
Don't worry, I'm behind the cameras.
He's behind the cameras, so that's where he is. Okay, good to see you. Okay, literally, last few minutes, guys. Jonathan Lee is about to win probably the Yacht Club ticket, okay? We don't want to give it to him. Well, maybe we do want to give it to him. I mean, he's asked a couple of things. So last few minutes, or Jonathan Lee, this is going to come over to you. Who else has just joined? Matthew. Hello, Matt. Good to see you. We have over 37 viewers.
Is that a record?
No, I think when Adam was on, it was around 50. So you won't be invited back. Okay, So last few minutes, we've talked What we had 3,000 viewers last video. Yeah, 3,000
overall.
viewers overall. So
Okay.
this will be put on my Mr. Taxman page and saved there. So if you want to recap on anything, debt collection, employment law, tax, you can view it. Right. Best tip. One tip only for an up and coming professional. What would you say?
Best tip for an up-and-coming professional. I would say don't limit yourself. Expand your horizons. Enjoy it and embrace it. I think it's very important to enjoy what you do. Do what you love.
Yeah. That's great. And one tip to avoid paying tax.
Speak to me.
I'm joking. What have we got here? We've got Rosie. What's he saying? Smiley face. Yes, you're coming on. Get ready. Jonathan Lee. What's he saying?
He's saying, have you got your glasses on?
No.
Which yacht club?
Do I have my glasses on? Do
you need your glasses?
Yeah, I do need my glasses, but that's what you're here for.
Monaco.
Yacht club?
To Monaco.
Monaco?
Yeah. He thinks the yacht club's in Monaco.
Okay. No, afraid not. But it's in Temple. Temple is just as nice.
It is just as nice.
So it's the last Tuesday of every month. Mark Harris just joined in. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. I hope you've passed all your exams. Gearing up to be a chartered accountant. Want some tips there? So Kish, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
It's been great. Maybe we'll get you on again.
Yeah.
Depending on how much London law gives us. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Good to see you, everyone. Thanks for the messages, Jonathan. This ticket is coming your way. I'll get your details last Tuesday if you can make it. Next Tuesday, myself and Kishan will be there, propping up the bar, networking. We hope to see you there.
Taking selfies.
For everyone that's joined, thanks very much. Episode 3 will be coming your way. Remember, you can look at my latest business, Fusion Consult, www.fusionconsult.co.uk. Tax, social media, business advice, IT strategy. We are there to help. Mitch the Taxman. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Review, Bye bye.